a minute away. Ready?
No, I'm skipping.
The chime has to ring before we're ready, right? Okay, ready? Okay. Very good. Let's go ahead and start because I know everybody's really excited about today's meeting. And like to welcome everybody to a regular meeting of the Madera County Transportation Commission Policy Board. And do we have any members online? None. Okay, so this is the A team today then, right? This is the top drawer.
We are
group. All right, that's great. They all look like A-teamers to me.
So there is an A.
Perfect. All right, very good. Well, let's go ahead and start our meeting by pledging allegiance to the flag. Right, everybody join me. Ready, salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Before we move into public comment, I would like to introduce a new member of an ex officio member of our commission from Caltrans, Phil Vallejo. And Phil, would you like to take this opportunity to just kind of introduce yourself and tell us, how long you've been with Caltrans and what it means to you and your life and how.
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm happy to be here starting April 1. Shane Gunn transitioned back to his position in environmental, and I transitioned to this position. So I've been with Caltrans for about 20 years. Since 2022, I've been the environmental deputy, so the deputy of environmental. So I'm sliding over to the planning to this position. Pretty happy. Usually people are mad at me, my old role. So
Now, why would they be mad at you? I don't understand.
So I'm happy to be here. I know that you all know our director, Michael Navarro, is one of his top priorities is good partnerships and collaboration and good customer service. I'm definitely sure that we continue that relationship.
I thought you were going to say his number one priority was Madera.
One of his number one priorities.
All right. And let me see, we actually have somebody else from Caltrans here today, way in the back. Brady Duran. And Brady, welcome to our meeting today.
Thank you.
And is this your first time ever in one of our meetings?
It's the first time for the board meeting, but I've been coming to the TAC meetings.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, well, welcome and great to have you all here. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on to public comment. And this time is made available for comments from the public on matters within the board's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Attention is called to the fact that the board is prohibited by law from taking any substantive action on matters discussed that are not on the agenda. No adverse conclusion should be drawn if the board does not respond to public comment at this time. It's requested that no comments be made during this period on items that are on today's agenda, and members of the public may comment on any item that is on today's agenda when that item is called and should notify the chairperson of their desire to address the board when that agenda item is called. So are there any members of the public who would like to make a comment under that definition? All right, anybody? Wow, I thought they'd be lined up ready to make comments. So, all right, very good. So let's move on. It's MCTC sitting as a Transportation Policy Committee, and we have our consent calendar. It's pretty extensive, lots of great items on there, lots of great information. And are there any items that a colleague of mine like to have pulled for further discussion or elaboration? Seeing and hearing none and nobody online.
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed. Motion carried. Very good. And again, lots of great information about things coming up.
I'll save the date for the groundbreaking.
Yep, groundbreaking and policy conference and all kinds of great stuff. So very, very good. And we'll probably be discussing that a little more as the meeting moves on. Let's go to transportation action discussion items. 5A is our state legislative outlook, bills of interest, and updated April 2026 bill matrix.
Yes,
So-
thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
The staff report is kind of, it might be a little bit confusing at first. I struggled with how to organize it. But with us today, we have Bitch joining us. At this time of year, up at the state capitol, reviewing bills, it's kind of very fluid, if you will. Last month, we took some positions on some bills that were out there that we felt comfortable with taking positions on. So in the meantime, between the last month, we have written letters accordingly, and I included the letters in your package. But there was also some bills that we decided that we were either going to wait or that they no longer affected us because they had been amended in one house or the other. And so Mitch will touch a little bit on some of that. But included in your package today, we have 3 bills for action, and that's SB 1423 at Stern. It's the State Transportation Improvement Program with Active Transportation Program. We're recommending to oppose unless amended. AB 2168, which is WICS, it's also an Active Transportation Program guideline. In your package, it says support, but we are recommending opposed to that now. And then the other bill in your package is AB 2722 LS. It's a motor vehicle fuel tax law, suspension of the gas tax. And so we're recommending to oppose that. But Mitch will dive a little bit deeper into some of it and also provide you with a little bit of an update on why we are also, I'm stalling here, 2184, the reason why we have chosen not to move forward with that at this particular moment. So Mitch, welcome. And if you have the floor.
Great, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Just in terms of general context right now, the budget's moving slowly through the legislature. The legislatures are awaiting the release of May revision, which comes out on May 14th, and that'll reflect the April 15th tax receipts. The budget, revenue forecast before the budget was released indicated that there would be a deficit, and so the budget had projected cuts in various areas accordingly. What we're hearing now is that there may be some slight increase in revenues, but those are, we're hearing that in conversation, but nobody's put that in writing. So we'll see what the May revision holds. And even if there is a temporary increase, there's not going to be alleviation of the long-term structural deficit that we've got. So we've still got to face that. We're still closely monitoring Cap and Invest. The legislature thought they were largely through with that last year after extensive discussions. However, with a combination of decreasing revenues and the administration wanting to move things up in priority, there continues to be discussions. For us, looking primarily at transit, we could see funding cut by about a third due to the decrease in revenues, and these are the funds that go through the programs of the low carbon transit operations program and the competitive transit interserial capital program. There's also a continuing discussions in the legislature related to the prioritization of state operations funding, the state staff to run various programs, and how that should be prioritized in cap and trade. There's also a discussion in the staff report of SB 375 and modernization. There's a bill out right now by Cabalden, SB 1087, that contains a number of very positive steps, but we think there's still some room to make some improvements that would double the period of time that one has between RTPs from 4 years to 8 years. It takes what is called an alternative planning strategy and makes it a part of the RTP instead of a separate document, which is easier to produce if an MPO isn't meeting its air quality targets. And then it specifically exempts these documents, the RTP, the Sustainable Community Strategy, the alternate planning strategy from CEQA, so make it easier in the preparation process. It also requires CARB to set new targets for 2045 and outlines a more public process for the target setting. So all those are very positive things, but we think there's maybe still some room to make some changes. This is a bill that's been pushed primarily by the largest MPOs, what's referred to as the Big Four, which is Southern California, Sacramento, and the Bay Area. And the Big Four constitute almost 90% of the state's population. So those are the ones who have been driving this discussion. In terms of positions on bills, we're recommending positions on 3 bills. One is SB 1423, which is support unless amended. And this is a bill that would require half of the STIP funds to go to Safe Routes to School projects. So that would be both in the interregional program that gets proposed by Caltrans and in the regional program, all the RTIPs that are proposed by every county. And so, it may be, everybody clearly has priorities beyond safe routes to schools, and it's not really, in my mind, a reasonable request. And so I don't think it's really going to go anywhere. We've heard that bill is going to be amended to become a study. It's unclear what one would exactly be studying related to that. So we're waiting with interest to see where that bill lands. We're recommending an opposed position on AB 2722, which would suspend the gas tax for a year. Additionally, we're recommending, and as Director Taylor said, this is different than the staff report. We're recommending an opposed position on AB 2168, which is was just amended last week. It's pretty nuanced. It would require the California Transportation Commission's Active Transportation Program guidelines to make some changes that are going to disadvantage projects in some of the smaller counties like Madera. Really, it's requiring in the project selection efforts to maximize STIP funding for active transportation projects. And for really the largest counties, they have enough projects, whatever type of project you want in the STIP, they're going to be able to give you. But for counties that have fewer resources, it's quite problematic. The bill does make some references to transit and the active transportation program goals and project eligibility criteria. But my perspective is it's largely done in a manner that'll have very little impact on the program. So I think it's adding some words to the law, but not getting any real result out of it. And with that, those are the 3 bills that we're recommending positions on.
Right, very good. Thank you. Mitch, I just have a question on that Ellis bill. So let's say theoretically that we did suspend the gas tax for 1 year. How much money would that be? I mean, do you have any kind of a ballpark figure as far as what the amount of money that would be that would take out of the system?
Now, it would be billions, multiple billions. I don't have the number offhand. I could certainly get that for you. The bill does. There are a couple of bills like this, and one of them suggests that we could backfill from the general fund. But we know we have a structural deficit in the general fund, so that's really looking at it, trying to get money out of a bank that's empty already. So right. That doesn't really solve the problem. There's also little guarantee to that this would really impact consumers in any meaningful way.
Right. Yes, political theater is what it is, and I've started to use that term. And because it's not going to go anywhere. It's never gone anywhere. And since 1923, gas tax has been a source of funding for roads, and it's always been like 80% of the source. So So the people who are backing this, they're denying, what's happened for the last 103 years. I mean, it's again, it's just show they're trying to do something, but it's really a waste of time. So just want to throw that up there. I also like to mention that I'm really with it these days because I noticed one of the letters that was sent that I signed, it had the terminology we're showing nature-based solutions. So there's some new terms I'm using. So anybody wants to have the Caltrans lexicon to know all the new and updated terms, just talk to me because I know these things. So.
Why are you looking at me?
Nature-based
Application.
solutions, Jeff, I don't know what that means, but it's the new words that they use. So good. So are there any questions for Mitch? Yes.
Under the Ellis bill, are there any alternatives suggested for funding source during that time or not on the bill?
No, there's no other revenue that's available to fund this. I mean, it's a significant number too. I mean, that's it's not enough to meet our needs, and we all worry about the gas tax and the diesel excise tax revenues declining, but they're still really big numbers. And so trying to find a source to backfill that would be quite challenging.
Yeah. I think one of the main considerations of the bill is that people are struggling to fuel their vehicles right now. And I certainly feel that pain myself, having recently traveled to Idaho to visit my son. And the fuel in California was significantly higher by $3 at least in California than it was in Nevada, than in Idaho. And it went down $1 each state. So it really gives you pause about what California is, what we think and what we're doing. And we have the worst roads. I mean, their roads are beautiful and ours suck, to put it blatantly, but we tax people like crazy. And I think people are they're saturated. They're at that point where, like, why am I paying for this when I don't get any better product? We don't have a better outcome. And something's got to happen where that's concerned. I just feel like part of the problem, and I think our director probably knows this better than anybody else, is that we spend more than any other state on the environmental aspects of the projects. And what's crazy about that, just to be frank, is that we have roads that exist already and we have to do an environmental review of the road as we're rebuilding it, but it doesn't change anything. The road's there, it's going to be built, but we spend half of the money on the environmental review. So it's just, this is one of the problems, and then among others, probably prevailing wage. And then, of course, as fuel goes up, the cost of doing roads goes up exponentially as well. So it's just disheartening. I mean, as a person sitting here watching my state go down, down, down over the last, 40 years, it's been a slow decline, and I'm sure we all feel it. So we need to really seriously start fixing our house somehow. Thank you.
All right. If there's no other questions, thank you very much, Mitch. Appreciate it. Anything else you'd like to add or?
No, thank you for the opportunity.
Right. Happy Earth Day.
Thank you.
He's
It
happy
is.
he's
It's
on Earth.
April 22nd. All right. Very good. Okay. 5B.
No, there's a motion.
Oh, there's a mo, oh,
Yeah,
this is
there's an
a.
action
okay.
to
This
post
is
three
the
bills.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, public comment.
Seeing none online.
Okay, nobody here.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed, motion carried. Very good. let's move on to 5B, Transportation Funding Program Update. And Mr. McNeil.
Yes, I'll wait for the PowerPoint to be pulled up. This is an annual presentation I give to give a kind of an update of our transportation funding programs and kind of a opportunity to answer questions about the programs and also some accountability as well that goes along with it. Let's see if I can just. I always start off with headlines. Is thinking. So these are maybe some of the national headlines you might have seen. You know, we all are aware of what's going on in the world. How does that impact us here? How does it impact, we talked about the price of gas. How does those things impact us here? How does it impact our sales tax, revenues? How does it impact our local economy? What is going on? And so we're always, wondering, what does the future hold? Just some things to keep in mind as we go along. But here locally, we also have things like this, where, it shows like Valley Children's how much economic impact it has on our region. And we know they have plans to grow and expand and to have an economic benefit to our community, to our county. And so, those are some positive things going on. We see things like, the forecast about with the casino that should be opening, housing that's going up in Southeast Madera and other parts of the county and other retail openings. Those are all, you could say, positive impacts for our economy. And so those are things to keep in mind as we discuss this, as we move forward. Something it's in the packet as well. I just want to bring your attention to, we have our Measure T newsletter that's prepared by our consultant HDL, and just want to bring attention to that has information of kind of what's happened in the past and not necessarily looking forward, but it's good information in there of how things are. It could give you a good idea of what's going on with our sales tax revenue, especially with Measure T, that things are okay, things are healthy, they're flat, but they're not necessarily going down or not, and they're not necessarily going up either. And so it's something that we'll monitor and keep reporting on. Just some of the programs. This is just a review. These all have acronyms. As you know, you may be familiar with a lot of these. Some of them are local programs, some of them are state programs, and some of them are federal programs. They all operate a little bit differently. The ones that are showing are all administered or controlled in some way by this agency. We have a role to play in some facet. And then on the next slide, these are all other programs that are not controlled or administered by this agency, but we have access to, our agencies have access to get grants and other funding to fund projects. Just a quick reminder, CMAQ, it's a federal grant. It's for air quality transportation projects. Our apportionment for this current year was $2.2 million. We have 3 years to expend the funds, or we could lose our apportionment to the state. For 24-25 fiscal year, the net obligation was just under 1.7 million. The last 5 fiscal years combined, our net obligations have been 6.4 million. We could have obligated approximately 16.8 million with everything that we had available to us. In 25-26, we have 0 obligations year to date. We have projects that are programmed. One of the things why we bring this up is to encourage or to remind everyone that there are projects that are programmed, there are projects in the pipeline. And it's just a good opportunity to ask, what is the status of those projects? How are we moving forward? How can I help assist these projects moving forward? Carbon reduction program. This was a new program under the IJA bill, the last transportation bill. We have 5 projects, about 1.4 million, primarily pedestrian facilities. We did have some electric vans from the county that have been ordered and received, I believe. And then all the other pedestrian facilities, I believe all the PE has been obligated. So those are in some form of progress. And hopefully we'll move to delivery and construction soon in the near future. The RSTP program, we exchange federal funds for state funds, which makes the program easier to administer and easier to spend for our agencies. They have 3 years to expend the funds. It's by reimbursement. Our 25-26 apportionment was $2.1 million. And cash on hand as of the end of last month was 5.7 million. So just doing the math, you could see we have just about under 3 years worth of funds of cash on hand. These are all programmed towards projects. And so it's just another opportunity to ask staff, what's the status of our RSTP projects? What is going on? How can I help to move those projects forward? Our STIP program with our regional improvement program, Mitch, referenced this program and these funds. These are state funds that come to our region that we can expend on projects. The current projects in the program are the Avenue 7 to Avenue 12, and Avenue 17 to 21.5, 99 gap closure projects. We'll talk about more of those here in a little bit. But the next funding availability will be the 2028 cycle. We've already submitted our 2026 RTIP that was approved by this board at the end of last year. The CTC adopted those in March. We have the Transportation Development Act Fund that has the local transportation fund and the state transit assistance fund. This primarily funds transit first, and once all the unmet transit needs are taken care of, they can spend the projects or spend the funds on road projects. Our 24-25 receipts were 6.3 million. As of the end of June 30th year end, the audited balance, unexpended balance was 11.5 million. And so we have funds there. If they're for street and road projects, they are programmed towards projects. It's just another opportunity to ask, where are our LTF funds programmed? How can I help move those projects forward? LC Top is part of the Cap and Invest program, comes from those auction proceeds to fund transit projects. We received $2.8 million through fiscal year 25. Cash on hand at the end of last month was about $1 million. There are about 6 projects in process. So again, another opportunity to ask your staff, how are our transit projects moving forward? How can I help get those projects delivered? SB1, State of Good Repair Program, again, it's for transit. Our 25-26 allocation was $290,000. Cash on hand at the end of last month was just short of 1.3 million. So there's a substantial number of years worth of funding on the books, all programmed towards projects. And we just need to get those projects delivered and requested for reimbursement. SB 125 Transit Funding Program, newer program, the last couple of years. We received the first years and we received a partial of the second years. This is all contingent upon the state budget. It's coming out of the general fund. And so we'll see in these budget negotiations that's going on right now, if we're going to get any more of these funds coming towards us. We have about 6.2 million that are still allocated to come towards us for transit projects. Measure T. Through the end of March, we have received a little over $200 million in Measure T from April 2007 through last month. Our 24-25 receipts were 16.1 million. Local agencies received about half of that. We have leveraged over 369 million to date, which is 1.2 $1.84 for every dollar collected. And that's a conservative number. That's a direct correlation of things that we can definitely say that we've leveraged. And then as of June 30th, these are audited cash balances. The audits are in today's packet. They're a little later in the meeting under the authority section. But the audits will show cash balances for each of the entities of those amounts. So it's our understanding these are all programmed towards projects. And so again, another opportunity to ask, how are those projects moving forward? How can I help deliver those projects? There's significant cash on hand on books of Measure T funds. Some of the regional projects that have Measure T on them are the State Route 99 widening, Avenue 7 to Avenue 12. Hopefully that will be in construction at the beginning of the year. 233 interchange, operational improvements. They're in design phase. We are still seeking the fully fund construction phase. And we hope to be in construction in the fall of 2028 if everything goes as planned. And then there are still 2 City Madera projects that will be programmed and planned forthcoming. Measure T renewal. Our current measure expires in March of next year, and Measure T renewal will be kicking in April 1st. Just some highlights that it will be a new 20-year measure, 80% to local streets and roads, 14.5% to regional projects, 4% to transit, 1.5% for administration. The Citizens Oversight Committee will continue to operate. Some of the things about the renewal, later today we'll have a public hearing for the implementing guidelines that will be considered for approval in May. Having this renewal will continue to allow Madera a seat at the table. I always tell everyone that I speak to about Measure T that the biggest benefit is it helps us to leverage other dollars and to have conversations with state and federal folks, even if it's just a little bit. I'll just give a quick example. The Avenue 7 to Avenue 12 project on State Route 99, we put $9,000 of Measure T. But that $9,000 was critical to keep the project moving forward in some of the development stages. And so, even a little bit of money can help bring those projects, those leverage dollars in. The Citizen Oversight Committee recruitment will begin later this year for the new committee. And then the strategic implementation plan will also begin later this year. The strategic implementation plan will highlight some of the regional program and financing policies similar to our current strategic plan for the current measure. And then we have the state SB1 local partnership program. It's here because it's kind of connected to our Measure T program because we qualify because we have the Measure T and we have to use a 1-to-1 match. We've through 2025 about $2.6 million in allocations. 25-26, the 360 of those have been programmed, and 26-27, 319 will be programmed by the county here soon. Those get requested from the CTC. They've been going to various reconstruction and rehab projects throughout the county in various locations, and you can see some of those there. We have received one grant, as you know, $5 million of competitive funds. We have applied for the 233 project unsuccessfully. We plan on applying again for the upcoming cycle this fall to hopefully help fund the gap for the construction phase. And that concludes my presentation. I can answer any questions.
All right, very good. Any questions? Yes, Jeff.
Regarding the CMAQ program, you mentioned the 233 interchange in Chowchilla. And has it been, have we discussed in this board whether that would qualify for some of those funds?
So the roundabouts technically could possibly qualify. We did work with and suggested your staff to apply for those funds. Those did not happen. And it is a competitive call for projects process. So the last call for projects was a couple years ago. And so the next call for projects, that's a possibility. We do have a contingency list currently on the CMAQ list. And so we'll see, but we have had those conversations to answer your question, and none are currently programmed.
My understanding was last go around, we didn't have complete plans ready to go, and that kind of hurt us. Do you know, I wonder if Caltrans can address that, whether those plans are more complete now and we'd be ready to submit those.
Yeah, they are close to 60% designing, and I'm not a designer or an engineer, so I don't know what all that means, but that's what they reported at our last meeting. And I'll defer for Caltrans to add any additional information.
Which project was this?
233 roundabout. That's about that one every meeting.
Yeah, so the notes I have is we're working on the supplemental project report, the freeway agreement, and cooperative. It's the intersection. Once we have that, we can start working on our right of way acquisition. But we're still targeting summer of 2028 for construction.
For to list, yeah, to RTO.
So what does that mean, just for Jeff's edification? So to list, it's not construction, it's to list is different.
Basically, what that means is that it's ready for construction. We are still we still have a funding gap for construction.
Okay, good, because I don't want him to, hey, I heard, yeah.
So that's the plan, but we still have a funding gap that we are addressing. And I know the city has you have some grant writing folks on staff. In fact, I think they're meeting here Friday or Monday to talk about some upcoming grant opportunities to try and get some more funding.
Good. Any other questions? I did note, though, on the Highway 99, it said expected construction spring of 27. Our executive director is going to roll her eyes right now, but actually it's going to be the winter of 27 because I've been told that's going to be the groundbreaking. Winter of 27. Anyway, that's what I've been told. So
February 2027, depending on weather.
Yes.
there you go.
That's what I have.
Yeah.
All right, good. See,
Sometimes, the terminology matters. What does that mean? I think it's because there is a whole, advertise, award the contract. And I just report on what I'm told that it should be ready for construction phase in February 2027.
there you go. All right.
The allocation vote will be in August, and it takes 6 months to get it ready for construction. So that's why you get the February 2027 date.
Exactly. Our Caltrans partners are working hard to even, get things moving ahead of that time. So that's really good.
When they actually, turn dirt over, we'll see.
In February of 2027. Yep,
That's
there
the
you
hope.
go.
It's overdue.
It's overdue, exactly. All right, very good. And one other thing I noted, Troy, you kept mentioning, and it was good. You're talking about funding that has been obligated and so forth, and to contact our staff to see how we can help move things along. What would be your, number one, that's a really good suggestion, but how can we help our staff in a practical way move some of these projects along? Like if I was, calling Jordan and said, hey, Jordan, what's happening with the RSTP? How can I help move this along?
Yeah.
I really probably can't. Jared's going to say, well, I don't have a seat for you here. You can't do anything. You're a county supervisor, but what would be a practical way for us to?
I think the simplest thing is sometimes just accountability of just getting an update of just where we at. And sometimes we're having an issue with Caltrans, or we're having an issue with Fish and Game, or we're having an issue on this environmental issue, or we're having an issue with, this community, whatever. And that's where, elected official could help and make, they may not be able to help much, but there are issues that maybe they could help. Even if it's just to help coordinate meetings or to help facilitate conversations that potentially help. But the first step is just accountability of, what is the status of these projects? How are they going? And, whenever we know when we have accountability, things tend to move quicker. And I think that's what this part of this exercise is just to keep us all accountable and to the public,
Yep.
to projects that we have planned for.
Well, I'd like to let the public know that actually Jared is always ahead of us. He says, oh, that's like 2 years ago. I've already got that done. So great job. We've great staff. So very good. But no, that's really, really good. And I thank you for breaking everything down and letting us know where we are and so forth. That's really good information. So if there's no other questions, we can now move on to MCTC sitting as the Madera County Transportation Commission. And the first item is 6, reaffirm all actions taken while sitting as the Transportation Policy Committee.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carried. Then we also have administrative consent items. Are there any items that a commissioner would like to have pulled for further discussion? Anybody online? If not, I'll accept the motion for action.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, motion carried. Item 8, this is the 8A fiscal year 26-27 OWP and line item budget. This is an action item.
Yes, and included in your package, I think there was a link to our overall work program. Now, this has been work in progress since January. I brought the draft to you. We brought the draft to you, our team, in February, I believe. And it has been circulated. It has gone to the Caltrans District 6, Caltrans headquarters, all the departments within, Federal Transit Administration, FHWA, Federal Highways Administration, for review and comment. They provided us with comments. We considered all comments received and addressed them in the final overall work program. I wasn't planning on going through each work element since we did go through it at the February meeting. If you have any items of interest in the work element, our staff is here and available to respond accordingly. And the budget, I just always like to draw attention to the budget, is in Appendix A and Appendix B, because what this really is a budget document. It'll come back to you various times throughout the year for amendment, and this kicks off in July 1st, 2026 through June 30th, 2027. The budget is pretty much status quo, except for you'll notice that there's like this, the budget was kind of cut in half, and that is actually because of the REAP program, the pass-through funds that we gave to your agencies for your housing elements type work. So that's why you'll see that big drop of 46% in the revenues. There is an increase in salaries and benefits, which reflect some of our staffs are up for a step increase, and there's also a 1% COLA that's been incorporated in this document as well. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or staff. If you have questions related to any of the work that we have coming up with the next fiscal year, we'll be happy to address it. So it's before you for approval.
Very good. Any questions, comments, thoughts?
Yeah, just of the change or of the comments that we received, was there anything like substantive that required us to make some changes in the document or?
Not necessarily. There was some information related to budget numbers that did not quite match there's some inconsistencies there, some reflection on our work activities. They wanted to keep it within the 1 year instead of multiple years, which has been they want us to work closely with our tribal governments. And so we do address that. And I think, Sandy, if I'm not mistaken, are the comments? Yeah, the comments are also included in the matrix in the back with our responses. And thank you to Sandy. She's the one who pulls all this together, gets staff working on it and gives us deadlines and makes sure that they're all responding. It's an effort. It's been ongoing since the end of December.
Team effort, I should say.
And we update our lexicon all the time, make sure we're saying the right things.
Key buzzwords are included. Yes.
Good. I want to make sure nature-based solution, just remember that. All right, not plant-based solutions. nature-based. Okay, any other questions, thoughts, comments? Anybody online? All right, again, thank you, everybody. Great work. And so we've got a motion.
Move to approve.
Motion and second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. And let's move on to MCTC sitting as the Madera County 2006 Transportation Authority. And first of all, we have our consent items, the HDO and so on and so forth. Any items anybody like to pull for further discussion? Anybody online? If not, I'll accept a motion for action.
So move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, motion carried. Moving on to 10. This is 10A. This is a public hearing. The Measure T renewal draft implementing guidelines. So this would be for the new measure. Exciting stuff.
Thank you. It is exciting. It's been a work in progress. The guidelines are designed to facilitate the administration and execution of Measure T, the local transportation and funding measure and expenditure plan, as well as Ordinance 2025-01. Staff conducted workshops, met with members of the community, worked with local agency staff to develop the draft guidelines. Draft guidelines were released on April 8th and is open for 30-day public review and comment period. Comments are due by May 8th. After considering the comments, the implementing guidelines will be considered for approval at the May 20th board meeting. I can answer any questions and then we can recommend to open for public hearing.
Okay, before we open up the public hearing, are there any questions? All right, well, let's open up the public hearing.
We do have a hand raised.
Okay. Go ahead, hand. Okay, looks like it's Emma De La Rosa. Go ahead, Emma.
Oh, hi, my bad. This is Andrea Uribe from Leadership Council. I think I got logged on into the different Zoom account. But hello, everyone. My name is Andrea. I'm a land use and transportation policy advocate for Leadership Council. Thank you for the opportunity to provide public comment today. Through my work on transportation and Measure T here in Madera County the last couple of years, I have come to learn that people want to see improvements within their local roads, want to be involved in the process, and want to see their tax dollars accounted for. These themes are consistent across many communities within the county. With this in mind, I raised the following suggestions for the implementation guidelines. Under Section D, eligible projects for local streets and roads programs, the last bullet point allows for funds of local roads to be used for regional or transit projects as defined in the expenditure plan at the discretion of the jurisdiction. We ask for MCTC to implement policies that would require local jurisdictions to ensure all local roads are at least within a fair condition before redirecting funds from this category into regional transit projects. Under Section C, project eligibility, the guidelines call for projects to be proposed within each jurisdiction's capital improvement plan and/or the annual budget. We ask for projects called for under the housing element, safety, or environmental justice element to also be considered for eligibility. Under Section G, annual budgeting and reporting requirements for public engagement by the local jurisdictions are outlined. This includes one public meeting during a 30-day public review period for the local agency annual budget plan. We ask for there to be public engagement before the list is compiled to facilitate resident participation in developing a project list to be considered for Measure T funding, and additionally, for the guidelines to require local agencies to host at least 3 community meetings to maximize the amount of public input in developing the project list. Under Section M, Citizens Oversight Committee, the quorum calls for at least for 5 members and 5 alternates to support the implementation of a 10% set aside for disadvantaged communities in the guidelines, and we would recommend for the committee to grow to 10 members and reserve a number of seats for residents from disadvantaged communities. Additionally, in order to support transparency, residents have requested a website to be made available to track Measure T spending dollars and for it to include a GIS map similar to the Federal Transportation Improvement Plan, and for it to show how much money has been spent from each category and by each jurisdiction. Additionally, I would like to know what the timeline is for the release of the documents that are meant to accompany Appendixes D, F, and G. Thank you to the staff members who have taken the time to meet with me and answer some of my questions. I look forward to continuing to work with you and the MCT board members to address Madeiran's transportation priorities. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much. Are there any other public comments?
I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay. This is, again, a reminder of our public hearing. If there are no other comments, we will close the public hearing. And that is the action. So the action to be taken at this time. So we'll wait. We'll be again looking at May 20th as the as our date for approving the implementing guidelines. All right, let's move on to 10B, the MT Citizens Oversight Committee member recognition.
Me?
Okay.
So Mr. Wayne Chapman from District 2, resident of the city of Chowchilla, his term has ended, and we would like to recognize and thank him for his service. He has made many meaningful contributions in his in the last 4 years, and he has really brought forward, I guess, the integrity of the program or the integrity of the committee and really keeping things transparent. So we will miss him, but we wish him well in his retirement and travels.
Very good. Super.
Good friend and a good colleague in the industry. He was a manager for the Steve Chevrolet for years. And, appreciate his service.
So Wayne, we recognize you.
He's traveling.
Okay. All right. Good.
Travel safe.
Excellent. Yeah, travel safety, exactly. Godspeed. All right, very good. Let's move on to 10C. This is the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration agreement.
Yes, to ensure the renewed Measure T is operative by April 1st, 2027, the authority must enter into preparatory and administration agreements with the California Department of Tax and Fee Administration. These agreements are included in the agenda package. Resolution 2601 authorizes the executive director to execute the agreements on behalf of the authority. Staff recommends approving Resolution 2601.
Okay, very good. Any questions regarding this document? Okay, it's something we need to do. Otherwise, we're not collecting any funding. So
Move to approve.
any,
No hands raised.
no hand raise. Okay. No, okay. We have a motion.
Second.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anyone opposed? Nope. Okay, moving on. 10D, Measure T Citizens Oversight Committee meeting recap.
Yes, this item is to give a report from the last meeting held on March 25th. During public comment, a request was made to pursue Measure T performance audits. While Measure T implementing guidelines do not require agency-wide performance audits and project-specific audit requests are to be directed to the appropriate jurisdiction, the committee chair directed staff to bring this item before the authority board of directors at today's meeting for discussion. Staff does not recommend an agency performance audit at this time. Other committee items from the meeting included the expression of the committee's gratitude towards staff for all of their work and coordination. The next committee meeting is scheduled for September 30th. I can be available for any questions, and I'll turn it back over to you, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Any questions regarding the Oversight Committee? Seeing and hearing none. All right, very good. Great report. Perfect. And we'd like to thank everybody who participates on that committee, committee members as well as staff. Thank you. Moving on to item 11, items from staff.
Yes, I have a few items of interest or that I wanted to draw attention to. But first of all, I just wanted to recognize Sandy for Administrative Professionals Day. I would be here without Sandy. She probably takes, I don't know how many emails from me every single day. They probably talk about it all the time in the halls here. But I constantly forwarding, add this to the agenda, and she gracefully accepts it without getting upset at me for some of the stuff that I request her to do. So thank you, Sandy, for your work.
Thank you for not getting upset.
Yeah. Yeah. Unlike Mr. Chair here.
Yeah.
Um, Item 4B, I want to draw attention to item 4B, which is the traffic monitoring report. Our members here have always liked to see that report. It's available online. It's traffic counts available to you. It's updated every year according to our agreement that we have. Item 4N, save the date for the groundbreaking ceremony that was mentioned earlier. That's groundbreaking for State Route 41 Freeway Expressway on May 1st. Details are listed in 4N. Items 4K and 4P. They're state transportation improvement program related. You heard Mitch reference to it. You heard Troy reference to it. At the California Transportation Commission meeting in March, they approved the STIP, and within that STIP were several projects, and two for Madera. One was Madera South with the cost increase, which is 7 to 12. Madera North, 17 to 21, which was they added some. We already have environmental. It's designed them right away, and then also the high-speed rail station is also included. In addition to that, I also wanted to bring your attention to item 4. It's either 4K or 4P. But there's a letter included in your package that was written by our state legislative members in the Valley, all Valley members. It didn't matter what side of the aisle you were on. They supported our transportation State Route 99 projects. And so we wanted to draw attention to the letter that's included in your package because it's not always that you see everyone in an agreement in support of a particular project. And that's basically what the work that we have done with the State Route 99 coalition. We've worked to form a coalition and work with our legislators to assist us with moving these projects forward. When Mitch mentioned State Route, opposed certain legislation because of active transportation program and needing to program projects under active transportation near STIP, that is the funding that is supporting our State Route 99 projects, and it would otherwise be having to be diverted to, or at least a portion of, to active transportation programs. Let's see, I was going to respond to Councilmember Rodriguez, but I will do that with the next month. He requested our staff to look into some information related to the Air District and investments. TCAG, which is Tulare, has invested in programs with the Air District. I'll work with him on that. Councilmember Rodriguez also requested that we look at legislation AB 1421. Mitch addressed that, and the reason, and you also requested that we amend that as well and include it in the agenda packages. Some reasoning as to why we haven't done that quite yet, but we will keep an eye on it. I wanted to make sure that our next meeting is in May, that of your availability, if you can go back, check your calendars. We do know that there is a CSAC conflict potentially. So if this is going to be a problem, we would need to know ahead of time if we're not going to be able to have a quorum for our May meeting.
I'm gonna be out of state on the 20th.
I won't be here.
Yeah. So what
Bobby
maybe
will
what we'll
not.
do is we'll circulate an email to check availability with your staffs and you as well to see. And if we can't reach a quorum, we're going to need to. We need four in person.
I don't think you got it.
Pardon me?
So I don't think you have it. Dave and I are gone. Jordan's gone. Letty's gone.
Mhm.
So
But if I'm here, we have one from Chowchilla and we have two from the city of Madera.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of explore that.
And there's no League of Cities thing, I think, on those dates. So if Wasim can't make it, we've got Jeff,
Mhm.
and then there's three from the city. Yeah.
Good call. That's why you're the chair.
Okay, well, speaking of the chair, yesterday I saw, at the Board of Supervisors meeting, there was contest, or if you will. Mr. Chair didn't get to participate in that. I didn't know if we wanted to do a rerun.
Disappointed we talked about that.
Oh, exactly.
Well, I'm ready now. I'm up to 60 to 80, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
All right. Well, let's do 80 right
Congratulations
now.
on your vote. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring
Yeah,
attention to that because I know you felt left out.
I did. Yeah, but I also let you know, you told me, you mentioned that we were gonna do it, and then it was just like one day. If American Airlines would have cooperated initially without changing the flight, I would have supposed to be here midnight Monday, but it didn't make it till midnight last night, so.
Oh, wow.
Very good, thank
That's
you.
a likely.
Well, Rob would have wanted to hands down.
Oh.
Don't say it. That's all I have, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
I don't know if any of other staff, no.
Very good. I was just gonna thank you for bringing the road miles report up. That, what is it? Item again, it was the report done on the number of miles on different roads.
Oh, yeah, the
different-
traffic count program, the
Traffic
traffic
count.
monitoring.
I was reviewing that yesterday and it seemed like across the board that there were more miles than in previous years. You know, I was looking at different routes and seemed like it was an increase this year compared to last. And I guess it should be more activity, more people living here and so forth. I mean, I was looking on some of the county roads where there's not as much traffic, they were increased, and as well as some of the more major routes. So.
Yeah, I think focus on the arteries is helping stimulate that.
Right. Well, there's one where there's no traffic. It was 18 and a half.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because of the bridge.
Bridge being out.
Bridge being out, so there was none, and then all of a sudden it goes to, you know, so, exactly. So that was good. So thanks for bringing that up. Then the other thing is, you know, that letter that was sent from Valley delegation, Soria didn't sign it, which I thought was interesting. So it seemed like, let me see if I can remember, Ransom and Alanese and Tagnapah and Caballero and Macedo and,
That is interesting. It might have been I hope it wasn't an oversight, but
yeah.
I'll have to find out about that. 'Cause she's very supportive.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just curious.
Good notice.
See, I don't look at consent calendar.
Yeah.
All right, very good. I mean, whenever you have a 9-hour flight, I mean, you look for things. So
You really scrutinize the consent.
let me look at this. Very good. So anyway, thank you for bringing those up. Any other items?
Yeah, I got one here. So if you head north on 41, north of 145, you are likely going to see CAL FIRE out on the northern lane, doing some work on the roadside in order to prepare for our annual 41 burn, which is a nature-based solution.
Wow.
So I just thought I would
Nice.
weave that back in there full circle.
Thank you.
Just thought you wouldn't want to know.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Sharp.
Love that. Perfect. All right. So anyway, so I guess that was the lead in. Okay, that was a comment from commissioner, but then the next item, if there's nothing from staff, it's Caltrans.
Yeah, I have a couple updates. Have to answer any questions, follow up. I did bring Braden for any hard questions I can't answer, so put him on the spot. Miscellaneous, we have a planning grant application guide workshop for the Sustainable Transportation Planning Grant next month. So headquarters specifically looking for stakeholder input into the guidelines ahead of the next round of grants, which is later this year. This would be the time to provide comments. This will be two workshops, May 12th and May 14th. Braden is and his team are making sure that your staff has the information needed. Emergency projects. So there was an accident on Avenue 12 a couple months ago, east of 99, that damaged the guardrail and the overhead flashing beacon, the pole and the sign. The guardrail has been replaced. We're still working on a pole replacement. That's more time consuming to get the pole and the electrical. So we're looking at 3 to 6 months before we can replace that. Capital projects. We talked about the Avenue 7 to 12. February 27. That's the plan. The North Madera 6 lane, this is the Avenue 17 to 21 on 99. We're currently in the environmental phase. So there's a public meeting tonight at Fairmead Elementary School from 6 to 8. It's more of a VMT workshop. It's essentially explaining what VMT is, soliciting input from the community there. And that effort is to support the environmental document and that's moving forward. Madera Cap M in, this is the Madera, 45. Not Madera 145. The project was awarded last month. Our public information officer is looking to coordinate a date for a groundbreaking ceremony. So right now we're looking at early summer, but that effort will be coordinated with your teams. I think we're targeting mid-summer to begin construction there.
They complete the water.
Yeah, I think that's my understanding. It's
Yeah, when they.
mid-May.
So
After that,
Quite
we can
right,
start.
Yeah, a lot of great stuff, the new water line and the new cannabis shop, and then we'll have this, hey man, can't beat that. Things are really moving.
I can't comment on the cannabis shop, but the street improvements are gonna be great.
Well, maybe as they're high flying down the road, they won't have as many accidents because it'll be smooth.
Yeah, nice and mellow.
Yeah, nice and mellow.
There's also a curb improvement project on 41 at Road 16. We're hoping to RTL later this month, so we got a resolution of necessity out of CTC earlier this year.
What was that now? Route 16?
This is Road 416 on
416
41.
416.
Yes, sorry.
I thought you said Road 16. I'm
Sorry, I might have.
hard of hearing.
Hoping to begin construction this year. The procurement again of the light poles could be an issue, could push us back into construction to actually spring of 27. Construction there would probably be about 3 months. And that's all the updates I have. Happy to take any questions.
Yes.
I may defer to Braden though. Just let him.
We got a couple of items
Yes,
for
sir.
you that we've already forwarded to my chief of staff to, I believe, to Caltrans for some repairs, but entrance exit on Road 16 from 152. There's some significant grade issues there at that where the connection to the highway is, and it's pothole pretty bad at that connection as well. Then also on 99 going southbound, just as you just at the intersection of 152 and 99, there is a depression that has occurred. It looks like just like a sink where the concrete's cracked and dipped down pretty heavily right there, that one spot. And then I think there's a couple of spots related to it down the bay. So just, have to look at those and make sure that first time I hit that, it caused my truck to death wobble, and I was able to get it under control, got it off the side of the road and stopped, but it's pretty significant.
I'll take that information. I'll follow up.
Yeah, thank you.
Back. Yes, sir.
All right, very good. Any other?
I just had one, similar to supervisor's project I'd worked on with Kane, area in 41, where there's a need of, I guess, some road rehab. I'm just curious if that project's continuing to move forward. I think he had mentioned that we were hopeful to get out there in the spring before summer heated up, but any information?
What was the location?
It's 41 through Oakhurst. I don't have a mile marker in front of you. It's right outside Judy's Donuts.
I do not have a update. I don't know. I'll look into it and circle back to you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here. Welcome.
Glad to be here. Thanks.
Very good. There's no other comments for Caltrans. Let's go ahead and look for comments from commissioners, and we already had.
started. I cheated. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. That's good. It's always good. Anything else?
No.
Now the program, we have it all set up for next week from Friday for, if we have like Costa showing up or anything, for the
Groundbreaking? I was just handling it. I guess I'm not really sure that he'll be there. So hopefully Costa will. That contributes to the problem. Yeah, it should be good. I saw Larry Salinas today, who's working for Costa, bouncing around all over the place, but
Okay.
ensure.
Yeah.
It's just that invitation.
That'd be good. I know he's always asking about it pretty much every time you see him. Yeah. So,
Thanks for the suggestion.
yeah. Well, and give the guy credit. I mean, he's not even our guy anymore and he still asks about it. So.
That's what credit's due.
Mhm. Exactly. All right, Jeff.
I do have one item.
I've got nothing. Okay.
Yeah, at one point, looked into the possibility of a southbound truck inspection station in Madera County on approximately Road 9, Road 7, somewhere in there. And the reason that I think that we need to revisit this, the only truck inspection station is Merced Truck Inspection Station going northbound. You have a connection at 152. A lot of trucks come from the Bay Area through 152 and then go southbound to bypass Merced, and you don't ever catch the circumstances that are created that are causing a lot of serious accidents and serious situations for other travel on Highway 99. I think that would be an ideal location because you're center of the state. Southbound traffic would be picked up, and especially that Bay Area, which is quite heavy. If you ever travel 152, you see trucks making their way toward 99 in masses. It's a huge number of commercial vehicles. I've also mentioned, I think, to your predecessor that I have a little bit of or not a little bit, but a lot of concern about the use of Chowchilla when it comes to the Road 16 is designated as a it's not Road 16, it's supposed to be 233, but everybody uses 16. And all the trucks use 16, Road 16, and go through town. And that road just gets pummeled by that traffic. But it also creates an issue that came to light very seriously with the death of a local officer recently, that there was a truck crossing 152, and you probably know the story. Anyway, my thoughts are that I don't know how you enforce this or how you create the circumstance, but it's my opinion that using 233 is much safer than crossing the road on 152 to get to Road 16, where you're obscuring traffic. And there are a lot of accidents that occur at that intersection as a result of that very thing that happens right there. And a lot of trucks, I don't know what the circumstances surrounding it is, but there are a lot of trucks that come down Road 16 and get off right there and make their way north again. And I don't know why they would come from 99 and do that, but they do. Maybe whatever reason. Of course, there's a lot of truck traffic in the industrial park and et cetera. Maybe that's the result of that. But it's my strong feeling that the truck should be limited to 233 to go through Chowchilla to northbound 99. And I don't know how you solve that. I don't know how you create that circumstance. But that discussion needs to be had at some time, at some level, to eliminate this safety hazard for the general public, because it's bad. Anyway, much as thought.
Yes, I'll take that back.
Thank you.
And
Thank you for that.
All right. If there's nothing else, and there's no closed session items, we shall adjourn the meeting. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Welcome home.
Right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. I can decide that. The very candidates get us.
Wasting.
Having inspection state.
But I wonder if it's, now who handles it?